Hey guys, Victor here. Before we get started with today's episode, I'd like to officially announce that Tech Heads is on Patreon, where you can support the show for as little as $5. It is absolutely not expected of any of you guys to do so, but we really appreciate every penny. This goes towards helping us with the cost of gear, editing, distribution, and keeping us caffeinated. So if you want to show your support, feel free to check us out on patreon.com/techheads. Now on with the show.
4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So, here we go.
How you all feel tonight?
All right, well, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to Squid Game. This is the show where we talk about squids and we play games. I'm Victor. That's Anna. Say hi, Anna.
Hello. Can you imagine if people actually believed it? We're just going to do a whole 23rd to 24th episode on Squid, what you don't know yet.
Well, actually, I've been meaning to run this by you. I want to rebrand completely. I don't want to be Tech Heads anymore. I want to be Squid Games.
Let's do it.
Yeah. But honestly, still talk about the same stuff. So,
Right.
just a little more squiddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, did you watch that show, by the way?
Squid Games?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, geez. It's like the biggest show on Netflix.
Squid Game?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, this is
Who's
so
in
embarrassing.
it?
I sound psycho if you've never heard of it. Who's in it? It's I don't know their names. It's like a Korean cast, like because it's a Korean show.
Uh-huh.
But it's like Hunger Games meets Battle Royale meets
Wow.
geez, what's another one like that? It's just like a bunch of people. They're all in like crazy debt in South Korea, and they just like get approached by this guy to like come on this show. Not a show, sorry. It's a game that like really rich people go to watch in person. It's not on TV or anything, but yeah, they just like compete to win like tens of billions of their money. I don't remember the monies. Yeah, basically, like, I think it's equivalent to like tens of millions of US dollars, maybe. I know it's a lot, so, but it's crazy. I cannot recommend it more. That's not my recommendation for the week, but it is such a good show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I might give it a shot. You know, I'm rewatching Silicon Valley. So I'm already in like season 5 because I've been watching it for a few weeks. And yeah, I'll add that one to the list. That's for sure. Because I know that every time we record, I keep like a mental note of, you know, the shows or movies that we talk about, so I can go back and like rewatch it or watch it for the first time. So I was just talking to Sam about rewatching Arrival, and I'm gonna look into that show that you said, Squid Games. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was a huge, like just blow up show. Everybody started watching all at once. I think it broke records, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Queen's Gambit style.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good show too.
Yeah, it was a great show. Anya Taylor-Joy or Anya Joy Taylor?
No, Taylor-Joy. Yeah, you got it.
Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor-Joy. Got
She's
it.
coming out with a new movie. I think it's on Hulu though. Like Last Night in Soho or something. That one looks good because the guy from Doctor Who, Matt Smith, that played the Doctor at some point. I don't know if you follow Doctor Who, but he's gonna be in it. I think he's the villain. Looks cool. It's supposed to be coming out this month. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Might check it out.
Yeah, I like her. I think she's a good actress.
Yeah, she like, it's so crazy that she played like an 11-year-old, and then like in the same show she was like in her 20s or whatever. I don't know. But,
yeah.
oh
right.
my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah, great actor. Do we want to hop just right into what we're talking about because it's such a monster of a topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just cut all this chit chat out. Like, let's just get down to it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so by the time you guys are listening to this episode, who knows what's happened in the market? But I think Anna and I can safely say that Friday was a solid day for crypto. Mm-hmm. So if it's tanked by now, don't hate us. But because we're so stoked on what was going on, we kind of wanted to get a little deeper and talk about this sort of realm of crypto and blockchain and how development applies to it, basically. Because, I mean, it's something that I've kind of neglected for a little too long. I've always kind of invested here and there for fun and never too much money, but just like kind of put some in and then just kind of left it there. And I keep doing that every once in a while. But as far as like integrating it with development and talking about blockchain and stuff, like that was just beyond me. I didn't really want to get involved. But yeah, so when I think of development, I think of like web development, mobile app development, video game development. That's kind of like the ones that most people will probably think of initially.
Right.
But for some reason, yeah, like I never even thought about blockchain development. I always just would see people like coding, but also like looking at graphs and like charts for crypto. And I'm just like, what the heck is even going on?
Yeah.
I just thought that web developers were also the people who worked with crypto-centric apps and whatnot. But of course, it makes perfect sense that they would be their own types of developers with their own languages and frameworks that they work with in order to actually develop on the blockchain. Okay, so blockchain. We haven't even defined what blockchain is. So to my understanding, since this is also kind of new to me, blockchain is this network that kind of runs on a bunch of different computers and servers and devices all over the world, where it keeps a total record of everything with crypto, such as like how much somebody owns or who sent some coin to whom. And this basically gives us a decentralized system. And I guess decentralized just means that like all the code and data and everything on the blockchain is secured by every device that's connected to it, like I mentioned earlier. So now we don't have like the vulnerabilities of everything being tied to one organization or server.
Yeah.
So it's a little more secure. It's very transparent. It's very trustworthy. I guess the data is like very unchangeable and unique and unhackable somehow. But the blockchain is just where it all goes down. It's also commonly referred to as the public ledger. I think that's like coming from like finance, like a finance perspective, like it's just the public ledger. Not too sure though. But anyway, all the knowledge is public and backed up with proof everywhere. People say it's just the beginning of the new web and this new chapter in technology, which I think a lot of us are stoked for. And I think it's just gonna change our experience and understanding of the internet very soon. So Anna, I know you're this big crypto head compared to me. Between the two of us, you are the crypto head, like, without a doubt. So maybe you can shed a little light on how like blockchain and crypto play with one another. Like, what's the difference exactly?
Well, so I think that the definition that you gave is pretty much how I understand it too. Because I mean, blockchain, like the concept of it is very like it can seem far-fetched, but we are living in an era where blockchain is already used and alive, because of, like you said, cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin is one of the, I think that it's, a pretty big name tied to blockchain, but they're very much distinct because, like you said, the blockchain is the ledger that essentially processes the transactions of exchange of like, let's say, for Bitcoin, if you buy from someone, the record of that transaction is recorded on the blockchain. So it is always, there's always kind of like a digital trace of where that, like who that coin belongs to. And that is where, it's interesting because obviously the transactions can take place like in, I don't know, milliseconds. I don't even know how fast they are, but it's super fast, and you don't need to pay a bank anymore to pay to take money or give money, borrow money or whatever. It's directly from, maker to taker. And that's the interesting thing about the blockchain. But obviously, with Bitcoin, for instance, it is, I would say, a tangible or I would say like a tangible. I don't know if it's an intangible asset that runs on blockchain, because a tangible asset would be something that like a car, physical cash, fiat, or perhaps a house that you're actually transferring ownership, from one person to the other. But then an intangible asset would be something that is digital, and Bitcoin is digital. So you can run both on blockchain, but there are a lot of companies out there that are investing, their future on blockchain technology, because it is, like you said, the future of the internet, because it's decentralized. It's far more efficient. And I feel like it also, or at least the way I see it, the big benefit is that you kind of eliminate the conflict of having all of these like ancillary platforms and processes, that you would need to be able to do the same thing that blockchain in itself can do. So, there are so many applications to it. Obviously, I think the most common one is crypto exchanges, where you can buy and, and sell, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. I mean, there are so many out there. You have your meme coins like Dogecoin and, Shiba or whatever it's called. And yeah, like it's just, it's gone like haywire by now. So many people have come out with meme coins and stuff. But obviously, you have to be careful with that. I think the responsible advice, because we're not financial advisors, take this as you will. We just be, I don't know, conscious of like how you choose to invest it. But yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about Bitcoin, for instance, is that it's I think the way that it will hold its value and it will probably keep going up is because there's a limit of how many Bitcoins can be mined, which is 21 million or 22 million. I always forget. I think it's 21.
Is that called market cap?
I think the market cap is like when you multiply how many are in circulation by how much they're worth. So the market cap of Bitcoin now is in the billions, if not more. But I think it might match gold soon. Depending if it gets to like hundreds of thousands, then it's going to cross the trillion mark. And then I don't even know if it's going to stop, because it's an asset that there will be a limited number with cash, like the dollar, the US dollar, for instance. It can be printed. The government printed I don't know if it was 50%. I want to do a fact check on this one, but I don't know if it was not 50%. That's probably too much, but let's say 10-20% of the dollars in circulation right now were printed last year alone to prevent an economy fallout. So dollar can be printed. It's paper money. It's fiat. But Bitcoin, once all of them are mined, there won't be any more. So obviously now it's taking longer and longer to mine those last coins there. But that's where it's going to be an invaluable. I don't think that we'll ever really know the true value of Bitcoin. So that's why it's very volatile. It goes up and down, but eventually I think that it's going to, keep going up and down until we see it in hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think.
Wow.
I'm a true believer.
I wanted to hear. Yeah, clearly. Yeah. Also something to note, I think that's worth mentioning. I think the more popular between the Bitcoin blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain because they're separate from each other. I think the more popular one for developers would be the Ethereum blockchain because it offers so much more for us to actually work with, such as these things called smart contracts, which we'll define in a little bit, I think, and also like just true application development in general. So, so blockchain isn't exclusively for crypto, which is weird because it's like, okay, so you have Ethereum blockchain, but then you have also Bitcoin blockchain, but they don't have to be all about crypto because it's handy for this thing called DeFi, which is Decentralized Finance. And it just means you're taking financial products. Like you mentioned earlier about having like the banks in the way of doing things sometimes and like incurring fees and like getting like little to no interest over time. So there's these people, developers, who work on the blockchain and build these things for us to use that utilize the blockchain. So you can have something, and I'm sure they already exist. There's products out there, SaaS products out there that have moved over to the blockchain so that you could have like, instead of your savings account or checking account with like Wells Fargo or Chase or whatever, you can have it on the blockchain with the product that these developers made. You can even utilize blockchain for supply chain, real estate, I think healthcare too. Like it just applies to so much more than most people would imagine. And it's just mind-blowing to me that we're getting closer and closer every day to not having to rely on centralized organizations.
Right.
Like we can almost take full control of our money, which is really, really crazy to comprehend.
I mean, I think at this day and age, you can, I mean, if you invested enough into Bitcoin and you can get by like, just, or if you like immediately convert, let's say you get paid a salary and then you always dump like your dollars, or you convert them into like crypto. I mean, there are a lot of places nowadays that you can go and pay with your phone. Like you can straight up pay with Bitcoin. And we've been seeing like El Salvador. I don't know if you've heard of the country, that they've been making a huge push for Bitcoin. They're investing their entire, the nation's financial, technological, social future into Bitcoin. And they're bringing a lot of, I think, investors, they want to create solar mines, to be able to power up like Bitcoin mines or like other crypto mines. Like the average citizen over there already knows how to use Bitcoin to pay for goods. So I feel like that's just, it's very interesting that they decided to, that the president is making a big push for that. But obviously, there are a lot of other institutions that are, against it because they've made so much money off of people, aka banks. It's going to be interesting to see how they are, because it's also hard, with all the exchanges. It's so difficult to prevent, big banks that have built trillions of dollars into dumping their money into, Bitcoin. So they're going to hog up all the Bitcoins, and that wasn't the intent. It was, to kind of like take the power from these big institutions and give it to the little guy. But, if a Bitcoin is going to cost like, I don't know, $400,000 one day, then the average person, it's going to be difficult for someone to buy like a full Bitcoin, but they might be able to buy some of it, So yeah, it's a tricky situation, but nonetheless, I think that it's very valuable to have some understanding and being cautious, like with your money. And, if you're comfortable, go for it, buy some of it, or I don't know, learn more about it, or create a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain or Bitcoin blockchain or whatever.
I do want to get to smart contracts, maybe right after this, but you mentioned that like basically the average person in Venezuela, right? Is Venezuela?
El Salvador.
El Salvador. Okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that the average person in El Salvador, can, work their way around purchasing things with cryptocurrency. So from my understanding, we can use like digital wallets or smart wallets. Or they're digital wallets, right?
Yeah, right.
So like I know that like on Robinhood you can purchase these coins and watch them go up and down like stocks. But then you have something like Coinbase or Metamask, right, where you can purchase them, but then also use them to purchase things. Like that's what is actually in contact with the blockchain and like tied to you personally. So like you actually, I have Coinbase as well, but you've definitely been using it longer than me.
Yeah.
So tell me, like I'm brand new to all this. What if I want to buy some Bitcoin or Ethereum? Like, what do I do? Do I just go on Coinbase and just click that little arrow button to make it up and I own it?
Yeah, so so that's the interesting thing. Like when I first found out about exchanges, Coinbase was the one that I think was the most publicized one, at the time here in the US. By now, there are like other, apps or platforms that you can use, exchanges rather. And I think Coinbase is very user friendly. Like you said, it is, as easy to use as Robinhood, but instead of buying options, you're buying, crypto. So you just connect like your Coinbase account to your bank account. You're going to transfer, dollars over, and you have that balance immediately. So you can go ahead and process a transaction, like a request for some cryptocurrencies, and it will give you like it will essentially convert to like your money. Obviously they charge a fee. But it will convert your money into however much you're getting in the coin that you chose. Now, once that transaction is processed, I have seen it take they do give you confirmation that you own it right away. And that is
it's locked into that price.
Right.
The time you bought it. Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's, you're buying at a market price. I know that there's some other apps that it's a bit different. It's more like the stock market where like you buy it, whatever it closes at the end of the day, or you can set like a limit, for how much you want to buy it at. And, but with Coinbase, that's pretty much it. They have very like friendly UI, and then you have your portfolio tab where it shows like how much you own in each one of the coins. If you want to cash out, you have to be mindful that they also have a withdrawal fee, but then you can cash out, and they have limits as well. I think I haven't been using regular Coinbase for a while. I've been using Coinbase Pro. And with Coinbase Pro, I know that the withdrawal limit is $250K a day. Obviously I don't have that much in there. I wish that was a problem for me, but you just have to, be careful with some of the fees. That's one of the reasons why I transitioned from regular Coinbase to Coinbase Pro. It was a free account, and obviously if you have a Coinbase account, so like you can transfer like your coins, like your portfolio, over to Coinbase Pro. And then they don't have they don't have like makers and takers fees, or do they? I don't think I paid any fees on Coinbase Pro. Yeah. But I know that when you withdraw, that's when, you have to be careful. And there are also like, tax considerations that you have to make, because it can be considered income. So you just have to make sure they have like a good paper trail, at least for the time being, of all that money, in case you need to consult an accountant or whatever for like when the time comes that you need to file your taxes. But yeah, as far as Coinbase goes, like I'll probably recommend that one to start off. I have used the Gemini as well, and crypto.com. Oh man. There's another one, Kraken. I think I tried to use Kraken to get like one of the meme stocks just for, shits and giggles. But it was taking so long for them to like activate my account or connect to my bank account or something. So I just ditched it.
Yeah. Well, another good one that I mentioned earlier is MetaMask. And that one, is a little different than those. So they made it an extension for a browser. So like you don't have to log in anywhere. Like you don't have to go to like some portal and log in and then connect it to something else to purchase something. But yeah, it acts like a Chrome extension. So like if you go to wherever you're purchasing something using your, I think you can only use Ethereum on it. Yeah, you can only use Ethereum on MetaMask. But let's say you're like buying something, it'll probably do like the thing that Honey does, where it's like, we found 10 discounts or whatever. It's like, here you can use your Ethereum. So that's like my understanding of it. Yeah, so Coinbase, though, I didn't mention that earlier, or I don't know if you did, but yeah, with Coinbase, you can actually purchase Bitcoin along with all the other main ones, but with MetaMask, you can only do Ethereum-based ones, so that's like probably the other difference, and I'm sure it's like, it's a little bit of a thing that you're balancing, because like it is super fast and convenient to use MetaMask. Yeah. Because it is just right there on the browser, but yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong. I also heard, I should have said this earlier, but Robinhood will have wallets soon, because you can join the waiting list for that. So you'll be able to use your... I know. It's something I have to mention because I forgot to mention it earlier. But yeah, eventually that will be available as well to Robinhood users. And blockchain developers obviously did that because you have to communicate with the blockchain in order for that to work. And one of the things that is super, super important for developers of the blockchain to understand is smart contracts. So these are basically digital representations of real life contracts. So like it's just like, oh, it's a smart toaster. Like there's a little screen on it. You can toast your bread perfectly. Like it's just the digital version. Like that's basically it. And these smart contracts, they are the foundation of dApps or decentralized apps that run on the blockchain. So you can write programs that do certain actions just like you would normal code with whatever value is tied to the contract. So if I had a car, I think you mentioned selling goods on blockchain. So yeah, let's say I had a car and I wanted to sell it to you using a smart contract. So I would have a contract that says it's for sale, and that if somebody can afford it, then all the required documents that would be needed to own the car would be legally transferred to that person buying it. And everything would be truly unique data-wise. So that would mean that there's some sort of program that somebody wrote that maybe I made it. It allows me to list the car on it. And then it has the functionality to have somebody have the ability to purchase it. And it's also storing the ownership of the car. So it's like a little deeper than you might think initially, but it is like at the end of the day, pretty much basic development with blockchain elements laid into it. So, and you would actually not write this in a typical language like JavaScript. So blockchain developers use something called Solidity, which is, it looks very JavaScripty. And Solidity is for the Ethereum blockchain. That's where smart contracts are mainly written. I think all of them are written, because I don't know if you can do Bitcoin smart contracts really. But if you're already a developer, it's not going to be super hard to pick up, and it's super, super valuable to know. We could do a whole episode on Solidity and other tools that developers on the blockchain use. But I did also want to mention that, since I kind of touched on like this hot skill to have, smart contracts. So with blockchain development, it's obviously not where a lot of people start when they're coding. Because there's like all these crazy rules and protocols and jargon. Even for me, it was like super intimidating to even research this stuff for this episode. But it is really, really developer friendly. And the hardest part is like if you are a developer already and you're interested in being involved in blockchain development, the hardest part is learning the vocabulary. And because like I said, Solidity is very JavaScripty, so a lot of this stuff is going to be just kind of learning concepts, like almost like economics and finance and just like basic words that you would never come across, like smart contracts, flash loans, blockchain. Like I just didn't understand this stuff. So just think about the difficulty it would be for somebody who's never coded before and they wanted to get into blockchain development. It's like it's hard to come by. So I did a little research on ZipRecruiter and, a little skewed, of course, I'm sure. But I found out that the average salary for a blockchain developer is $154,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
In the US. Yeah.
Hey.
And obviously I'm skeptical because I've seen the average salary for web devs on ZipRecruiter and I'm like, okay, sure. Like that's pretty high, but okay.
Yeah, right.
But this isn't insanely far-fetched though, because it is like, it's a lot of doors to get through to get to being a blockchain developer, but a lot of people are hopping on that because it's such a great time to hop on it because it is so in demand. And all these, like even Venmo recently, I went on Venmo and I saw that like you could pay your friends and stuff using crypto. Like
you can do that now?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really remember the exact thing, but they had to have had blockchain developers do that.
Yeah.
So like everyday apps that everybody's using now, they're like slowly but surely incorporating blockchain technology into their apps. And I think even some banking apps are too, which is kind of contradictory, but
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to add on about that. So it's obviously a hot skill to have.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's a really good point to make because I know that we've always tried to go back to, like how do our topics, tie into like your, the potential for like a profession, because ultimately it comes down to like, will this skill or this technology, will it help you make it, will it help make you more employable? And I mean, blockchain, very much like it is something like you said, and it's not trendy. It is because it's revolutionary, and businesses that don't invest in blockchain and developing their private blockchains or public blockchains or whatever, I think that they're going to be, eating dirt like in, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Because the current, state of like the setup of the internet is not how things are going to be anymore. I mean, we've seen how like the internet is so different from what it was 20 years ago. So you really think it's just going to continue? Like it's not going to stay where it is. And, blockchain is really, really like game changing. So I think that there will be a huge demand for, I mean, there already is, I'm sure. And, because right now I feel like it is a bit of a niche, but I think that it's very possible that, that average salary there is going to keep going up and up and up because I'm sure that like the big tech companies, have been investing in blockchain for a while now, but it's going to trickle down to like small, medium businesses where they will have to adapt to that, to that need, to that like industry demand. I mean, eventually I think that it's going to become an industry standard, to have like your own blockchain. So,
and that doesn't even include all of the people who have crazy good ideas of specific SaaS products that are standalone things that need to talk to the blockchain. So not only are existing companies going to adopt this more and more every day, but there's going to be more and more startups coming out of nowhere that are creating these things and they need blockchain developers. So it's like, it's an understatement to say how important it is to, if you want to be even more marketable and like hireable, this is the thing to hop on immediately. So,
yeah, absolutely.
One thing I did come across in my research was an online IDE for blockchain development.
Oh,
it's called Remix.
Okay.
So in case you're curious enough to get, your toes wet, but you don't feel like downloading a bunch of stuff and incorporating anything else into your local environment. Let me talk slower. Local development environment. I try to combine development environment. So like you can get a better sense of like what all this really is. I think it's enough to get acquainted with doing a smart contract, maybe your first one. And I came across like a couple of great people on YouTube that do amazing walkthroughs of each thing, like Solidity, and I mean, like even doing stuff with flash loans and just basic like great investment tips, but it's all tied into blockchain development. It's like really, really cool. So if you are like super interested, I definitely want to do a couple more episodes on this sort of stuff and like maybe hone in on a specific thing. But yeah, this stuff is just not going to go away. And,
I think like you said, we should definitely dig deeper into Solidity and you know, devote a little like a series of episodes to like this whole topic, because there's a lot that you can do with it. And I would also like to, you know, stay kind of like current, or at least learn more about the topic, because there's a lot that I feel like comes out constantly about this.
Well, the other cool thing about it is like, okay, so with learning web development sort of skills like web stack and whatnot, you can be self-employed. You don't have to work for somebody, which is really cool. But with blockchain development, you can like do so much more, I feel like, because you can put those skills to investing and like make like trading bots and do all this other stuff that's like way above my head currently. But there's more to it than just freelancing and working for a company. Like you can literally just make money doing whatever. Exactly. Like, and creating your own products. So
I want to make my own blockchain.
It's easy. I heard it's easy. So.
I mean, I just gotta allocate the right resources and, you know, manage my time. Well, might be doable. Like it might be something very simple in the beginning, but you never know. It's
we'll do it. We'll make our own coin. We'll make our own blockchain. Everything.
Yeah. Let's do it.
A tech head's crypto. Perfect. And then we'll have an NFT. We'll have all the trendy stuff.
Those are, don't even get me started on NFTs. I'm like, why would anyone pay that much for like a picture? I mean, I get it. If it's seen as like, you know, a work of art, to just like the priceless, you know, paintings of, you know, Monet, Picasso, or Van Gogh or whatever. But it's just like, why? It's like a JPEG or I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I look at that stuff as like internet bling in a way. Yeah. Kind of like, hey, look at me. I have like this what's the one with the monkeys? Something ape. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it was a pretty expensive big NFT, or maybe it still is. I don't really know. But it's like each one is unique. It's a picture of an ape, I guess, you know, wearing some sort of outfit. Sometimes it's like, I think with like a sports team, or maybe just a specific style or whatever.
Yeah.
And those go for a crap ton of money. And like, you know, these, you know, internet sort of people who, you know, may be in like a bunch of chats for blockchain stuff, or maybe they're just like, or maybe they just have a really big online presence. And the NFT is like almost like wearing Supreme in real life, like sort of like hypebeasty, or like I'm just saying like that's how I look at it. Like I look at it as internet bling, like something to kind of brag and be like, hey, like I know enough and I have enough money to get this thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, honestly, I guess if you have so much like disposable income that you don't really know what to do with it, I mean, an NFT might make sense, you know. So, yeah.
And speaking of sort of hype, I guess, so came across this funny little article. There was like a joke on Stack Overflow where Stack Overflow created these alerts showing people that they had a limited number of copy and pastes for the day. Like little alerts saying like, oh, you only have 3 more today. Like you can't take any more code from us. Because obviously, okay, for the people who don't know, Stack Overflow is where you go when you're Googling what's wrong with what you're making. Or if you're like, how do I do this like for loop or whatever it is. So without a doubt, like the majority of the answers are going to be found on Stack Overflow for what you're asking. So the funny thing is like you copy and paste the code from Stack Overflow, put it in your project. So they were basically like tricking people into thinking that they only had a limited number of copy and paste that day. So people were getting scared and being like, well, what do I do? I can't finish this project, blah, blah, blah. But it was, all in the name of April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
So Stack Overflow teamed up with tech retailer Drop to release a cute little keyboard called The Key. And let me share my screen. Feature me edit this out or speed it up, whatever you want to do.
I like the chipmunk voice that we did last time. That was cute.
Yeah, I put it at like 2 times speed or 3 times speed. Okay. Okay, there we go. Wait, can you see?
Yeah.
You see you see the keyboard.
Okay, so what do you see, Anna?
I see the Stack Overflow logo, the keys C and V.
And that's it.
Uh-huh.
It's a keyboard with 3 keys. That's it. And it only does 2 things, copy and paste.
Oh my God. I love it.
And I guess you can map them to do whatever you want because, you can do that with any keyboard, I guess. But, yeah, the joke is like, this is just for copying and pasting. You keep it over here on your desk. And you can pre-order it for $29 on Drop's website. And the next batch will be shipping on December 13th, apparently. But, yeah, there's, I don't know
Cute.
I guess this would be like the command key.
Probably,
The little Stack Overflow logo, like you said.
Yeah, command or control, uh-huh.
Yeah, something like that. But, yeah, I thought it was pretty cute.
That is cute, yeah. Oh my God, it's so relatable though, because I remember like when I started the boot camp, I always thought that like every single developer, like once they learned, a programming language, they just went off and like coded everything, like, actually typed everything out. But nah, like you find ways that like good ways, to do things. You find it online, you understand it, because it's important to understand like what's being done, not just copying it and being like, okay, great, this works. And at least that's how I approach it. Like I try to understand it, and then off you go. Like someone has already cracked that, like Tuffy, and you're kind of just repurposing their code like for whatever project you're working on, but very applicable. And Stack Overflow is a good community. I like it. I think that sometimes you just have to know how to ask for things, but believe me, if you know how to search, the answer is already out there.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's like the joke is like when you become a developer, you learn Google foo, so you can Google better than everybody and find what you're looking for the best.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty good skill to have. So my recommendation this week, it's called Carbon, and basically what you might do with this is like if you have a couple lines of code that you're really proud of and you want to tweet it, or maybe you're like sharing something with a coworker or in a meeting or something and you want to like just like make it pop and pretty. It's basically this little text window that looks like an IDE, and you can type whatever you want in it, but this is maybe where you would paste your code, and it just makes it look like a pretty little display of your code. Basically, it's like super simple. I'm over explaining what it is, but I thought it was really cool, and I always wondered like how people tweeting their code made it look better, because if I were to do that initially, I would have just screenshot a page in Visual Studio. Yeah. But yeah, this is like a great way to show off your code, I guess. That's really it.
Do you get to pick like what programming language is, or like it oh nice. Oh, I like that a lot. Oh man, I'm gonna have to bookmark that. I love that.
Yeah. What you said, you have a really cool one. I'm curious. What is it?
Okay, so like several months ago, I was doing a little bit of research on finding like a storage like a cloud storage alternative, because I was like, I don't want to have to keep buying flash drives, and I know that I'm still contemplating on getting the network attached, like storage, the NAS. But this week, something came back into like my radar because I had heard about Mega. Mega is a cloud storage that is known for being very secure and encrypted through and through, and I was talking to a buddy, and he recommended it because we were, I wanted to like share a file with him or something or other, and the files were quite big. So he sent me an invite, and every time, like if you already have a Mega account, every time that you invite someone, I think they add like 5 gigs to your allowance, to your actual like space, storage. And so, yeah, so if you keep inviting people, they'll just keep increasing your quota, which is really cool. And I really, really like it. So I have the app on my phone. And I got like, as soon as I signed up, they gave me 50 gigs. And I think I don't know if that's more or about the same as Google Drive does. But yeah, I really like it. And I feel like, based on what I've read, they do, make a pretty big effort into keeping your information secure. So I feel like it is pretty interesting. But obviously, like, you have to keep in mind that if you're not paying for a service, technically you're the product, even though you're using their product. So, just take that as you will. But I thought that it was a very cool service. I like their, user interface. It looks hacky, not as, like, I don't know, as cute as Dropbox. It makes you feel a little more legit. I don't know. I just liked it. And yeah, so I wanted to recommend that one because I thought that it was really cool. Just, if you are looking for something out there like cloud storage wise. So that's my recommendation for today.
So is there a link that like you share and then you get your quota increased because somebody signed up using your link?
Yeah.
Basically?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
You'll send it to me and we'll put it in the show notes and stuff so people can get your quota up. Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, well, speaking of links, we have our Patreon link down there as well if you want to check that out. You can put as much money as you want, I guess. I think I've been saying as little as $5, but I found a little button that actually lets you pledge even less. So you don't have to do $5 if you don't want to. You can give us 50 cents, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll take whatever we can get. We do this because we enjoy it, obviously, but in order to like distribute the content and to help with equipment, and like you said, just give us a hand with everything that we need to make to make the pod work. It would be much appreciated.
Yeah, and we
But
don't
no
expect
pressure.
anything. Yeah, no pressure. No
Yeah,
pressure with the gun pointed to your face. You don't have to, but
But if you want to.
I guess you can like talk to us on there too. Like it's like a community board almost. So like you can talk to us on Patreon, and I want to do that. That'd be cool. But you can also email us, and that is techheadspod@gmail.com. Patreon is patreon.com/techheads. Give us ratings on things like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Simplecast, I think does reviews. Yeah, anywhere you can. That'd be pretty cool. We have a few reviews and no bad ones yet, so let's keep it that way. So if you are going to leave a review, don't. If you think our show sucks and you want to leave a review, don't, because I don't want people to know it sucks. I want them to find it out for themselves.
Right.
They might like it.
Yeah, don't ruin or don't rain on our parade. And not that obviously like we want to get feedback, but yeah, we don't want them to be biased into not listening. So if you have any
you have a
issues, just
problem,
email us or
exactly. Directly email us. We'll address the issue. We'll refund you, even though we didn't do anything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's all for now then. I think we're going to continue a little bit down this road of blockchain-y sort of stuff, crypto, stocks, that sort of thing for a little bit. But yeah, please keep coming back. We appreciate you guys making it this far if you did. And Tech Heads out. Peace.
Bye.